So, who would win in a fight? The world's best draconic assassin or the world's best draconic assassin? Now, I know what most of you are thinking. Who's Deepshade? Well, Deepshade is a character from the book I'm writing, and he is a really good assassin, just like Deathbringer. If you haven't already, I'd love for you to check out my book. I put a lot of work into it, and I spent so long making it. That book is the finest thing I have ever created, and while I won't claim for it to be better than Wings of Fire, I think it's still worth reading. Anyways, self-advertisements out of the way, I'd like to get on with the video. I will be comparing physical strength and speed along with skill and experience. I'll be doing a point system. 1 point for strength, 1 for speed, 1 for training, 1 for weapons, 1 for stealth, 1 for intelligence, and 3 for experience, all for a total of 9 points. But anyway, let's dig our blades into the scales of this video. Deathbringer is strong, capable of incredible feats of strength. He managed to throw a mudwing across a room, quote, as if the hefty mudwing weighed no more than a salamander, end quote. Deathbringer is incredibly strong, like almost supernaturally strong. He can throw a mudwing around like he was a tiny little lizard. He's also most likely strong enough to break someone's neck. While Deepshade is also really strong, he's not as strong as Deathbringer. He can break windows and break down wooden doors, but he prefers to pick the locks. Deepshade can't break a neck with ease or throw a mudwing around like Deathbringer could, but he's still strong enough to throw off someone pinning him down, although he would have some trouble. Deathbringer gets 1 point for strength, but Deepshade relies on other factors. Now we're on to speed. Deathbringer is really fast, but he isn't as fast as Deepshade. At least, Deepshade can climb really fast. Deathbringer can move quickly and gracefully, but Deepshade can outrun pretty much everyone. He isn't that fast of a flyer because he lived in a city for most of his life, so if it were a flying race, Deathbringer would win. However, if it were down to climbing or running, Deepshade would mop the floor with Deathbringer. Deepshade could also probably swim faster because he actually can swim. I'm pretty sure Deathbringer can't swim, but he's still fast in the air. I'm giving this one to Deepshade because he can move faster in a confined environment. Deepshade was trained by the Ravens for a little over a month before they let him start killing people, but only because of his talent. Most Ravens train for a year, but he showed a lot of promise in that month. In my book, the dragons age differently than the dragons in Wings of Fire do. The dragons in my book reach their teenage years at age 15, and they become adults at age 25. I'll talk more about their ages in the experience chapter, but at the current day, Deepshade is 25 and Deathbringer is 9. Deathbringer was trained from hatching, and he was training for 4 years, so I think I can just give this one to Deathbringer, and if the two fought when their training was complete, Deathbringer would most likely win. However, I prefer comparisons when both characters are at the height of their power, so let's move on. Next up is weapons. Deathbringer carries a bag of silver throwing discs, but as shown in the Hidden Kingdom, if he loses that bag, he can only use the discs in his talons. They aren't great melee weapons, but they'll do in most fights. Deepshade wields a unique weapon known as the Assassin's Switchbow. It's a sword that opens into a bow and folds back into a sword. It can be flicked open in an instant, and it can be used as both a sword and a bow. Deepshade knows exactly where to aim to kill someone, and he can kill with the sword even faster. There is only one switchbow in existence, due to how incredibly expensive it is to make, but Deepshade possesses it. It's actually a compound bow, which means it doesn't have to bend, and it's more powerful. One arrow is all it takes to kill someone, and the sword form is far more deadly. The sword is actually magic, and is enchanted to be unbreakable and permanently sharp. The blade is honed down to the razor's edge, and it can slice off limbs and cleave through skulls with ease. So this point goes to Deepshade, because his weapon is really, really good. Next up is Stealth. This one is actually really close. Deathbringer is really good at standing so still in a shadow, he becomes invisible. He's a master of blending in, yet when he wants, he can stand out. Deepshade is far more stealthy on the move. He can move completely silently on almost any surface, and he can climb fast and quietly too. He's a black dragon, so he can blend into shadows, but he doesn't use this as a strategy. He does use darkness to conceal his movement, and he does this well. But I think this point should go to Deathbringer, as he actually tries to be stealthy as his main strategy of evading guards. Deepshade is stealthy, but he relies more on speed and running away. Another important factor is intelligence. Deepshade does have a great battle IQ, and he knows strategies to get an edge in combat, but ultimately he acknowledges the fact that he is a weapon. He doesn't use his brain for reason, only for killing. Not to say he has no depth, though. He feels guilt for those he has killed, and he even falls in love, but I won't spoil the details on that. My point is, Deepshade's blood runs cold. Deathbringer is far different. He gets creative with his orders, often sparing targets in favor of a more advantageous outcome. When Deathbringer was supposed to kill Six Claws, he instead convinced him to defect. Deepshade doesn't do that. For Deepshade, he kills his target every single time, and everyone else that stands in the way as well. Deathbringer is like Corvo Atano from Dishonored on Low Chaos. He chooses the non-lethal path, and he spares as many as possible. Deepshade is like Deathmaster Sniksh. Everybody has to die. Kill, 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 blood, 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 murder, murder, murder. That doesn't mean Deepshade has no moral code, though. He won't kill non-target civilians, and he can still feel emotion. He's just really good at a single purpose: killing. This makes Deepshade a better assassin, but it makes Deathbringer far more strategic and helpful. That's why Deathbringer gets the point on intelligence. Finally, we have experience, which is the 3-point thing that will decide the victor. I can say with utmost certainty, Deepshade has far more experience. Deathbringer has 4 years of training and 5 years of experience, which Deepshade has a month of training and 10 years of experience. Deepshade has been an assassin for more time than Deathbringer has lived, and experience is the best form of training. Now, in terms of maturity, Deathbringer might be a little more mature, because if we made a conversion chart of their ages to human ages, Deathbringer would be 21 and Deepshade would be 19 or 20. But Deepshade has been a successful assassin for so long, so Deepshade wins the 3 points as well as the contest. I'm sure that in a real fight, Deathbringer would wind up convincing Deepshade not to fight him, and unless Deathbringer was Deepshade's assigned target, they would most likely team up. However, if Deathbringer was Deepshade's assigned target, Deepshade would probably kill him. I'm willing to bet that Deathbringer could escape if he realized he was going to lose, but unless this takes place before Deathbringer met Glory, he would probably fight to the death. I mean, what else does he have to live for? Both assassins are killers with nothing to live for other than to kill, but Deathbringer has far more warmth than Deepshade. Where Deepshade would become a martyr, Deathbringer would live to fight another day. But yeah, that's what would happen if these two nigh-perfect killers tried to kill one another. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and buy my book if you feel like it. And I'll see you guys in the next video.